I'm Chief Executive of the Bath Preservation Trust and have been for the last 13 years. Bath Preservation Trust has been promoting and championing the heritage city and its green setting since 1934, and we also run 4 museums in the city.
Caroline, Bath, as you know, is both a celebrated UNESCO World Heritage City, and it also has an ambition to be zero carbon by 2030. Do you feel that it's possible to balance both of those things?
I think it's going to have to, or it's going to have to try. I'd split it into 2 halves. One is the way people come to the city and move around the city, the transport piece, and the other is the homes piece. And they're going to have to look at both of those. And I think there is much movement that can be done. I think the focus has to be on what can be done in the first instance, rather than fighting against the 1 or 2 things that can't be done very easily. And also there's the third factor that we all have to take into account, which is people changing their behaviour, which is probably the most important of all.
As you're aware, we've been developing a story to try and convey how Bath might become a heritage city of the future. Do you think there are interesting things in this vision that can help to achieve this goal?
Well, I think the emphasis on digital is really interesting. And I think the performing arts are ahead of the heritage sector on this at the moment, in that the idea of reaching across the world with your play or your opera or whatever is now well established, and we're only just getting there with our heritage assets. That said, heritage objects are real things, and one of the things about heritage is authenticity. So while I think we could massively increase our reach and our global penetration through digital methods, I think people will always want to come and see Bath for real. They don't want a cheap model always, and they don't want just a replica. People want to see the real thing and marvel about the fact that the buildings are 300 years old, or in the Roman Baths case, 2,000 years old or whatever, and see real objects in real places. So we have to balance the 2 together, I think, of the digital and the authentic and tangible.
Carolyn, finally, if the renewal vision that we're working on achieved one thing in shaping the journey to a zero carbon 2030, what would you feel that should be?
Well, I think it ought to stimulate the organisations and people in positions of leadership to be activated into show, not tell. I think it's time to step up and start doing things over the territory over which you personally, as an organisation or an individual, have responsibility. So I would like to see Baines doing much more with their letter state buildings. I would like to see every organisation in the country perhaps having a zero carbon charter about what they feel they can do, and then getting on with it.